Hey, we're Dawes, and you're watching 101.9 KINK Radio in the Skype live studio.
That's delicious, man. You know, every time we have... Welcome back, first of all.
Thanks.
I think this is number 3 for you.
Yeah.
I'm the third interviewer. I've been around for a while, and I just
Finally.
absolutely... Yeah, I know, right? Finally, we get to meet like this, man. Welcome back to Portland. And, you know, every time I see you guys live in concert, too, it's always one of those kind of things where I don't feel any drama in the band. You know, there are a lot of times we see bands up here, and you can tell backstage and everything, there's going to be a little bit of drama. You guys are...
And that's a weird thing. I feel like that's why we all love the bands that we love, is because you feel like that's a gang of friends, you know? Whether it's old pictures of the Beatles, like, goofing with each other, or the Red Hot Chili Peppers, you just always have this sense of, like, these guys are meant to be together. And a lot of times... someone was explaining to me their fandom of Metallica and when they were growing up, saying, like, it's when you're a certain age and you see these guys that dress the same, they're all in love with the same kind of music, they seem to really love each other. It's less of a feeling of I want to be in that band, but more of a feeling of I want to be in that gang. And I feel like, you know, if we didn't get along, there's nothing worse than being in a band that has to live in close quarters together. Like 8 months of the year. So if this wasn't fun, if we didn't like each other, I'd rather go toss pizzas or something.
But you got to tell me there's still got to be a craziness on the bus too, right?
I mean, it's weird. I feel like the sort of the classic paradigm of what rock and roll means is shifting. It used to be like, where's the drugs and the alcohol and all this, and what, you know, going to bed super late or whatever it is. And now it's now we're all trading health tips and what supplement to buy at Whole Foods.
Kale smoothies and less television sets out of motel rooms.
Yeah, exactly. Every band that I know, we're all trading tips on just how to stay healthy.
Excellent. Well, of course, you've been probably the longest with your brother in this band. Explain to us, and please introduce us to the rest of the guys, too.
Yeah, well, Wiley behind me, that you guys here don't get to see, he and I have been in bands since he was 15, I was 18 or something like that. And Griff was a kid at that point, so Griff wasn't playing in the band yet. And then once Griff was 16, then that's when Dawes kind of started. Lee's been with us for the last year over here on keys. He just made this new record, We're All Gonna Die, with us. And then this is Trevor and Manier right here. We've been playing together for 2 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Freshy fresh.
Yeah. Still has the new car smell on him.
Yeah, I know he does. Leather, too. Where's that pleather? Corinthian, rich Corinthian. So you just mentioned the new album. Boy, it's kind of like dark, optimistic, but very truthful. We're all going to die.
Yeah, I feel bad for anyone if that's news to them.
Yeah, right?
I would hate to be that person.
But come on, nothing is wrong to 4 albums later. We're all going to die.
Well, I mean, you know, it's a weird title because there have been some people that, like, if they're in a certain place in their life, it hits like a ton of bricks, and it takes on a new meaning to them, even though it's something that we're all well aware of, you know, all jokes aside. But so it's something that I'm very sensitive to. I mean, I'm terrified of death, and it's probably a little more so than most people, or else I wouldn't have written that song, because it's actually a song on the record called "We're All Gonna Die," and I think that there is a certain amount of there's darkness there. I mean, it's something to keep in perspective, especially when what you do for a living is entertainment. I think it's really important once in a while to be like, oh, you know, how concerned I am about ticket sales in Nowheresville, or you know, how well a single's doing, or it's like, oh, you know what? Sometimes being reminded that after all, we're all going to die. It doesn't really. It kind of puts things into perspective. There's that famous Steve Martin stand-up bit where at the end of his set he says, you know, we all had a great time tonight considering we're all going to die someday. Yeah. I guess that's where we're coming from.
Very cool. So where was it recorded? I know you've recorded Asheville, Nashville, L.A. Where was this one made?
This one, I'm very happy to report, was recorded in Los Angeles, our home, so we didn't have to leave. We're gone so much as it is. It was really great to be able to just stay home and go to our houses every night.
Was it just you and the boys, or did you have a producer
Our
come in?
producer was Blake Mills, who we grew up together. We met at like 10 years old. He was in our band before this called Simon Dawes. And then he actually just got done producing the Alabama Shakes record that we all know and love. So he's really coming up as a producer, and and it was a joy to work with him again because we not only did we play together growing up, but we learned music together. It's like a sense of humor for me and Griff or something. Like once you come from the same world, it's just you see it the same way, and that's definitely how Dawes and Blake interact musically. We kind of learned the same language. So it was a great fit.
Well, I bet, too, because it's not like showing a stranger your words and your lyrics, your music. So how come it took this long to work with Blake, then?
I think schedules. Like, he's also an incredible songwriter in his own right, and he puts on incredible shows, and he's put out 2 amazing records, and he's a session guitar player, and we just are, I don't know, we were just trying different things, and I feel like the records have always told us where we should kind of take it. With our last album, All Your Favorite Bands, that was produced by Dave Rawlings, we wanted to do a record where we, really stretched out, played as much guitar as possible, and so in our minds it was like, who better to go to than Dave Rawlings?
It had that, for me too, a Zevon kind of feel with that too.
Oh well, he's my hero. I hope that all Dawes music you ever hear gives you that Zevon feel.
Cool. And so this is the third on Hub. That's your record label. Explain to me the freedoms that gives you.
Well, we were very lucky. The first 2 records we put it out on ATO, and that's an amazing record label. They never lived up to that sort of label stereotype of telling you to make this song faster, or take this song off, or ruin your record for our sake. Or they were always so supportive. So we were lucky from the first record. But then by the time we made the 3rd record, we were lucky enough to be with Q Prime Management, and they managed some huge bands. So they had the finances and the resources that we would need to put it out on our own. And so it is our record label, but it's really our record label with our management. They're the power behind it. And so yeah, it's great to not have as many cooks in the kitchen. It's great to really feel like we in a weird way, it is like a new 360 deal where even though it's separate from, the label and the money that we make on tour, they're still our managers. So they're able to see, really put money into an album without worrying about, well, is this going to recoup? Is this going to do that? Because they know that we're going to go play some shows, and we're going to be able to still there'll be business with Dawes, but it just might not be strictly an album sales. Actually, I can promise you it won't be strictly an album sales.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah. It is the touring and off the stage now that makes all the money, isn't it?
And if we were, on an amazing label where they did depend on strictly album sales, it would be a much different situation where they would only be willing to spend X amount on a single or X amount on marketing or whatever it would be. So with this, we're very lucky to kind of create the world that we're all living in now in this musical climate.
I'm glad you feel that way. I'm glad there's that freedom. And I'm telling you, once again, every time I see you guys, it's just, if there's an application that I can put out for be a man groupie for you guys, just let me know, all right? I don't know what I got to do.
All right.
And just to let everybody know that streaming, if you're streaming in Portland too, these guys are going to be at Music Millennium tonight, 6:30? 6? All right, you guys are on it. So how's all my friends in Seattle? Was last night in Seattle all right?
Was that last night? Yeah, that was last night.
Like
it was good.
All right. Yeah, it's all good. Guys, once again, get more from you?
Yeah.
Come on, give it up. It's Dawes.